Thank you so much for having me and inviting me to speak today. A big shout out to Emory Continuing Education and the whole team that has helped bring this together. So I'm really excited to have this opportunity to connect with all of you today on this beautiful Saturday morning or evening, depending on where you are in the world, and help you find some fresh perspectives and insights that can help you positively impact your career and your business growth as you reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. Yet, before I do, I'm just curious, how many of you, like me, believe that life is too short to live from a place of fear? Just raise your digital hand or drop an emoji and let me see in the chat box if that resonates with you. Life is too short to live from a place of fear. And how many of you would agree that fear is a perspective that is causing you stress and anxiety? What is that fear costing you? In peace of mind and energy, health and well-being. Turn that on. So can we all agree that there are benefits to shifting your perspectives, to reduce your fear and anxiety, and to perhaps increase your calm, your clarity, even your confidence? Maybe even expanding your success, your abundance in unexpected ways by simply changing your perspective. If this sounds right on point, then you're in the right place. And I'm really glad you're here today. Now, before we dive in, I want you to just take a moment to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, breathing in gratitude, exhaling stress from your body. Just breathing in and out, feeling your fingers and toes. Maybe you're took us in the chair, noticing any sensations in your body as you take in a few more deep breaths, tuning into the wisdom of your whole body, not just your mind, allowing yourself to be here now in this present moment. Now slowly open your eyes. So why did I have you do that? Well, I really wanted you to get present, to get back into your body, because today we're going to have a conversation together and with yourselves. And I invite you to have some honest reflection with yourself. I'll be asking questions of you to answer, just for you. Sharing is optional and anonymous. This is a safe space as we honor each other. So get out your favorite note-taking devices and let's go. All right? So what's the number one challenge in growing your business or your career? Just write it down or type it in the chat. What's the number one challenge in growing your business or career? Just drop those thoughts in there for me. And what if it's you that's holding you back? What if it's your limiting beliefs or perspectives that are getting in your way, creating blinders to what is actually available to you? Yeah, these answers coming in, they're very common. Overcoming fear and self-doubt, staying on track, resume help, confidence. Trying to get my cursor over here to see the, there we go. Now we can see the chat box. Imposter syndrome. Yep. Self-sabotage. Feeling ready. Yeah. Fear of speaking my opinion, being minimalized. Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of answers here. So I want you to know you're not alone. I think there are over 1,000 people registered for this call today. So know that you are not alone in how you feel. So did you know that nearly 3 in 5 people in the workplace suffer from imposter syndrome? That's 58%. And psychology today tells us that 7 out of 10 adults may experience it at least once in their lifetime. It was the psychologists Pauline Rose Clance and Suzanne Imes who developed the concept originally termed imposter phenomenon in their 1978 groundbreaking study, which focused on high-achieving women. Since then, the research has shown us that both men and women suffer from imposter syndrome. It's basically a fancy way of saying self-doubt. It's a deeply held lack of belief in yourself. And yet it's a persistent and overwhelming belief that leaves you feeling like a fraud when it goes on too long. That maybe you're not smart enough or talented as others think you are, despite all of the accolades and accomplishments that you have. It can also be triggered by the negative impacts of toxic work cultures, workplace discrimination, structural racism, especially for people of color and marginalized communities. It's everywhere, but we all do a really good job of keeping it under wraps. Did you know that even some of our very well-known world leaders and celebrities have suffered from imposter syndrome? Tom Hanks, Sheryl Sandberg, Lady Gaga, Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, Barbara Corcoran, one of the investors on Shark Tank, Serena Williams, Supreme Court Judge Sonia Sotomayor, even Albert Einstein was once quoted as saying, "The exaggerated esteem in which my life work is held makes me very ill at ease. I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler." So you can see that you're not alone. Now, unfortunately, blocking your own progress is more common than you might think. Doubting your abilities to such a degree that you hide out in the shadows. And it's related to depression, anxiety, burnout, and overwhelm as well. In fact, 45% of people reported they feel anxious in their job, while 36% said they felt scared or depressed. And 25% were demotivated, according to a poll by Clarify Capital. In addition, 44% experienced feelings of overwhelm and burnout, according to the Brain Health Report from Muse. All of which is linked to a high prevalence of people who separate themselves from success, thus creating negative career and personal consequences, all by undermining their own performance because they lack confidence, causing them to resist their own success. So Caroline, let's throw up that first poll, right? I'm really curious. Since 2020, have you experienced any of the following? Depression, anxiety, overwhelm, burnout, or imposter syndrome? Mark all the answers that apply. And those numbers are going up and up and up and up. And we're going to share those results with you here in a minute after everybody drops in. We've got a lot of people on the call, which is awesome. I know I suffered from all of these things during the pandemic. It was pretty tough on me. And my coping skill turned into overworking and burnout. If I just work hard enough, I can ignore everything that's going on out there in the world. All right. So let's we'll give it just one more second or two. We've got a bunch of people participating, which is awesome. And it looks like there's a lot of us who've been suffering. Caroline, why don't you go ahead and show those results to everybody, please? Thank you. So you can see 66 people have been dealing with depression at some point over the last 3 years, 84% with anxiety and overwhelm, 71% dealing with burnout, and 79% with imposter syndrome. So those are really high numbers. So how many of you are ready to release your imposter syndrome? Just type yes in the chat. Because every time you say yes, you tell the universe to pay attention. Right? The universe is always listening. Now, my clients have dubbed me the mind detective because I have an uncanny ability to get at the root cause of their issues and pull them out like a bad weed. I've worked with thousands of people worldwide around their imposter syndrome, and I've identified the common thread underlying imposter syndrome. What I found is it's actually self-doubt that's holding you back. Imposter syndrome is like the umbrella for the more deeply rooted self-doubt. It's the underbelly of it, if you will. And through my 20 plus years of research and study around this topic, what I've also discovered is there are 5 self-doubt archetypes, which sit at the heart of imposter syndrome that hold you back and slow your roll to success. So let me walk you through these as you notice which ones resonate most with you, right? The first one is the procrastinating perfectionist. These are friends who like to procrastinate or overwork things to achieve perfection before putting your work out there for anyone to judge. The shapeshifter. These folks are masterful at juggling multiple roles to please others, just so you can feel safe, often because they've had narcissistic caregivers, I found, to various degrees. The third is the reluctant resistor. These are our friends who are too afraid to be seen or judged or rejected for their work, so they're reluctant to take on new challenges for fear of failure. Number 4 is the anxious avoider. These are our friends who are scared of being rejected for not having all the answers, not knowing enough, never asking for help, and have a very strong, I'll do it all by myself attitude. This was my own personal favorite for many years. And number 5 is the fearful follower. These are our friends who stay in the shadows, hiding out, following others instead of trusting their own gut instincts and years of expertise. Now, you may have more than one that resonates, and yet there's typically one that is the strongest for you and runs your behaviors more often than not. I like to think of it as it's the 5 love languages of self-doubt. There's often more than one that drives your behaviors, but there's always one that likes to lead the charge. So Caroline, let's pop up that next poll. Please, thank you. If you had to take your best guess from your gut instinct about yourself, which one of these 5 self-doubt archetypes rings most true for you? Just go with your gut. Don't overthink it, right? Is it the procrastinating perfectionist, the shapeshifter, the reluctant resistor, the anxious avoider, or the fearful follower? Just take a moment to notice, and we'll share those results here in just a moment. So why am I asking? Well, awareness is the first step to changing your mindset. right? So congratulations on starting to notice what's blocking your success. Because the more awareness you bring to it, the quicker you can move it out of the way. All right. Let's see here. We'll let that run for another minute or so, but it looks like we have a winner in the lead. Why don't you go ahead and pop up those results for me, Caroline? Thank you. And the procrastinating perfectionist wins by a whopping 43%. The shapeshifter, 15%, the reluctant resistor at 13%, the anxious avoider at 24%, and the fearful follower at 5%. It's always fascinating when I give these talks to see which ones come up. It changes a little bit with every group that I speak with. Now, thing is, it doesn't stop there. The voice of self-doubt can be sneaky, and it shows up in many different facets of life. These are the 6 key areas I found to be most greatly impacted by your self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Your career, your money, your relationships, how you show up in conflict, how you show up for your own success, and motivation. And all of these can have a negative impact on your health and well-being. So pause for just a minute and think about, write down for yourself where your self-doubt is infiltrating your life. Where is it negatively impacting your peace of mind, your happiness, your success? What different nuanced ways is it showing up? Just notice. This is not cause for judging yourself or coming down on yourself. Just notice with loving kindness and compassion. Because again, awareness is the first step. And I get it. I was once plagued with self-doubt myself that kept me hiding out and unable to create a thriving life. I was terrified, actually. You see, I was bullied out of my high-tech career as a creative director in web development back in the original .com days. And through that experience, it created a massive case of corporate PTSD for me. I was terrified to hand my resume to anyone. And the day I was let go, I'll never forget. I can still see it and feel it very vividly in my mind's eye. Now, I went home that day and I called my mom to tell her about my bad day. My mom's pretty stoic. She's like, I'm sorry you've had a bad day. And then she changed the subject and she said, and our friend is dying. A very dear friend of the family had contracted unknowingly AIDS. He was a very closeted gay man in a very small town. And he was too afraid to be who he was authentically. So he chose not to receive the medical care that would have actually helped him live a much longer life. It was a catalytic moment because I realized in that moment, so what? I lost my job. My friend is dying. Now, I happened to be leaving the next day on a family vacation, and I said to myself, when I come back from my vacation, that's going to be the first day of the rest of my life, and I'm going to get on with getting on and do what I need to do and figure it all out. And that morning, my father called me to tell me that our friend had died. And it was so tragic because he didn't have to die. He chose to die because he was too afraid to be who he was. And I decided in that moment that life was too short to live from a place of fear. And I've dedicated my work to my friend Al. And I knew that day that I had to put my big girl panties on and get on with getting on and figuring out what I needed to do, even though I was terrified. Now, looking back, as painful as that whole experience was, I know it was a blessing in disguise because it led me to my life's work as a coach and a hypnotherapist and a trainer, both for individuals and for teams, to help improve communications, to eliminate workplace bullying, to help create psychological safety. You see, my mission is to provide masterful coaching and training that enables social emotional healing and well-being through acceptance, belonging, and connection with self and others. To cultivate dignity in the workplace worldwide so people can authentically thrive. I spent the last 20 plus years studying brain-based research to get past my own inner conversation that coaching is woo-woo. I'm actually secretly a science geek. I love studying how the brain works and how humans think and what makes us tick. I've spent over 7 years studying hypnotherapy, training, and working with clients worldwide, integrating somatics, energetics, human dynamics all into my work. All about how humans personally and organizationally work together. And I love helping clients release their subconscious fears, to find their authentic voice, to live their best life, to thrive without apology. I'm blessed to love what I do, helping people find their way out of their self-imposed blocks and barriers to create greater happiness and a life they love. Now, this is one of my favorite quotes. It was another catalytic moment. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Dr. Wayne Dyer said this many years ago, and I remember when I first read this quote on the back cover of his book, standing in the Barnes & Noble on Shattuck Avenue in Berkeley, California. It gave me full body chills, a real visceral reaction. It was an aha moment for sure, because in that moment, my perspective changed yet again. It opened up a little bit more for the better. So can we agree that perspectives and mindsets that you carry with you throughout your life create your reality? Just type yes if you do. And that these perspectives are all based on your history, including every time your dignity, your inherent value and worth was violated by someone who caused you some level of mental, emotional, or physical harm. Each violation carrying another barrier, each violation creating another barrier to connection, just to keep you safe, thus creating your present reality and impacting your future. The challenge is when you're caught in your history, spinning around your past fears and failures and self-doubt caused by these violations, it can create excessive anxiety, stress, overwhelm, perfectionism, imposter syndrome. So can you start to see how this impacts your relationships, your career, your success? Yeah? You see, it's these old perspectives that are clouding your current reality, creating the blinders to and barriers to love, to joy, to clear communications with others. As you look through the filters of your past experiences, perhaps, just perhaps, making incorrect assumptions about present or future situations, creating that stress, that worry, that anxiety, that self-doubt, and a whole host of physical ailments as that stress manifests in your body. Does this resonate with you all? Yeah, absolutely. Now imagine how things could flow more easily if the fear and false assumptions were moved out of the way, out of your communication equation. If they were eliminated from your nervous system, removed from your subconscious mind, so that you felt unshakable in any given situation. So I'm curious, what would you say perhaps is at the root of conflict in your life? that you've experienced, perhaps you've witnessed with others. The things that are causing the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the anxiety, conflict around money, relationships, career, success, home life, personally or professionally. Just type your answers in the chat. Remember, your answers are anonymous. Only we, the hosts, can see them. So fear what people might think of me. Instability, security. Will I truly help someone? Successful marriage, fatigue, gaslighting in the workplace, fear of failure, fear of success. Absolutely. Lots of fear of failure showing up. Demands across life. I don't have the credentials. Learned helplessness. Being unfairly judged based on my race, gender, age in the workplace. Yes, these are all very common, right? And what I found, crisis of confidence, afraid to trust, feeling like I have to prove myself as an immigrant. Oh my gosh, yes. Fear of letting people down who trusted me. Fear I don't belong. Fear of fitting in. All of these things, yes. Raised in a toxic home, absolutely. What I found to be at the root is when our dignity is violated. If you get below all of these things that you're sharing with me, it's because your dignity has been violated at some point. When your value and worth has been diminished or dismissed or even destroyed by others, which can very easily fill you with self-doubt and worry, triggering our imposter syndrome and amplifying our very worst fears. So what is dignity? It's to be worthy of honor and respect. You see, we're all born with dignity, but we're not all always respected in a way that honors our dignity. So why is it important to know your dignity? You might be wondering, right? Well, simply put, it's the what and what motivates you and how you want to be treated. It's important to understand it because then your dignity can be supported and given credit, not just for what you do, but for who you are authentically, not who others expect you to be. Anybody have overbearing parents who expected you to be something, right? Yeah. This is about you getting to be who you are authentically. And when you stand tall, knowing your dignity, you're less likely to get triggered when someone unintentionally violates it moving forward. I've spent the last 2 decades helping people release the self-doubt, the blocks, the barriers they've created to connection stuck in their subconscious mind and in their nervous system. Blocks that were created when their dignity was violated in small, large, and even traumatic ways. I help people release their pain and suffering so they can live their best life and thrive. Yet what I found is these beliefs and behaviors are stuck in their subconscious mind, which were originally intended to protect them from further dignity violations when we were little. But now they're just keeping us small and stuck, creating self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the anxiety, the fear, and so much more. You see, as children, our brains aren't fully formed yet, not until about age 25. So we don't even have the capacity to process the violations, large or small, that happen to our basic physiological needs, our sense of safety, our sense of belonging and self-esteem. And each of these fundamental needs are all impacted when our value and self-worth is attacked in some way growing up. So what do? What does our little child brain do? Well, we make up things about ourselves. We're left to figure out with the mind of a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old. You see, when your dignity is violated, it creates the same physiological reaction as if you're being physically attacked. MRI scans have shown us this. It's pretty mind-blowing. Our hearts race, our body prepares to fight, flee, or freeze, right? Just in order to keep us safe. And then our child brain makes up all sorts of the reasons for the violations we've suffered through, the violations that have shaken us to our core, sometimes without even realizing it. We start creating ideas about ourselves, beliefs forming in our subconscious mind, such as, well, maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable. I must not be worthy. I don't have any value. I don't belong, right? These are all very common. And from there, our child mind then tries to figure out how we're supposed to act, behave, talk, dress, look, etc., just in order to feel loved, to feel accepted, to have a sense of belonging, to feel safe. We're hardwired this way. All of which we carry with us into adulthood, neatly stored away in the dark corners of our minds. I like to call it the junk in your trunk. Now, what might be some of the beliefs that you made up and started believing about yourself as a kid based on the big T or the little t traumas that you've lived through? And how are those old beliefs limiting your current reality now, creating self-doubt, imposter syndrome, or worse, manifesting that dis-ease as physical disease in your body? Take a moment to write these down for yourself. Again, no judging here, only self-love and compassion. Just take a moment to write those down. Yeah. So many great answers coming in. And you can share them in the chat. Again, it's anonymous, or you can just write it down for yourself. So let me tell you about Greg. Greg came to me with severe anxiety. He's a veteran in his field, 30 years. He knows how to do his job, and yet he was waking up every night full of anxiety. And then at work, he was procrastinating, avoiding, and then his revenues were going down. So he reached out to me, and we worked together for about 90 days. Now, when we first started, he said, yeah, I know I had a crappy childhood, but I've forgiven my mother, and, she's since passed on. I'm good. I'm like, okay, great. But as we continued to do work together, we started peeling away more layers of those old beliefs that he still was carrying around within his heart. And after one of our hypnotherapy sessions, I said, so were you surprised by anything that came up today? And he was very serious. He cracked a dry little smile. He's like, yeah, it always comes back to my mom. And now 2 years later, he still writes to me and tells me how great he's doing and how grateful he is for the work that we did together. Because we were able to remove the old anxiety that was still stuck in his nervous system and rewire his mind, heart, and spirit with greater confidence and clarity. Gosh, thank you for sharing all these with me. So let's pop up that next poll, Caroline. What thoughts or beliefs do you tell yourself that are causing you stress? The ones that regularly are popping into your head. I want you to be honest with yourself. Maybe it's overwhelm. I'm not doing enough. Or business or career problems. Oh, terrible at sales, right? Maybe it's relationship challenges. If only they would be different. Maybe it's chronic health issues. I've got to lose this weight. Perfectionism, one of my personal favorites. It's not quite ready yet. Move that 2 pixels to the left, please. Or burnout. I should be doing more. Whoops. Oh, Caroline, wrong poll. Do number 4. Sorry about that. Take that one down. Put the other one up. There we go. Perfect. Sorry about that, folks. No worries. Select the areas that regularly cause you stress and anxiety. Yeah. And for my overachievers in the room, well, you get a bonus homework assignment. Spend some time journaling about what that child within you made up about yourself so many years ago. I promise it will be cathartic. Yeah, all sorts of things that are showing up for folks. Feel free to drop any ahas that are showing up for you right now, or even just an emoji of what thoughts or feelings are coming up for you right now. I should be more organized. I overcommit. Journal about what are the thoughts that you've been telling yourself, your child mind has been telling yourself for so many years, right? What is that little voice in your head telling you, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I have to work harder, I don't know what I'm doing, right? I should be doing it better. I should be further along than where I'm at. So many. Just start to notice the conversation, right? So given what you're noticing about yourself, imagine how that can all get triggered and amplified when you're going through a major life transition, such as a divorce, job loss, even starting your own business, or even a new job role. Noticing all the internal dialogue that gets kicked up and stirred up, right? So let's see. Let's look at our poll here. Let's go ahead and share those poll answers, Caroline. Thank you. So it looks like overwhelm, I'm not doing enough, as our popular favorite today, right? Followed by perfectionism at 56%, chronic health issues at 43%, and business, career problems, and relationship challenges come in at 31 and 32%. Yeah. So we're all dealing with this internal dialogue, right? You get to notice that for yourself. What's that stirring up for you? And so as you notice that little voice, I want you to just say to yourself, isn't that interesting? No judging, no degrading, no coming down on yourself. Isn't that interesting? And then let it go. You get to notice how those limiting perspectives are impacting your joy. It's these old beliefs that are keeping you stuck on the emotional roller coaster, perhaps creating more conflict and misunderstandings. So let me share a quick story with you about the Chinese farmer. Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. And that evening, all the neighbors came around to commiserate. They said, oh, we're so sorry to hear that your horse has run away. That's most unfortunate. The farmer said, maybe. The next day, the horse came back bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came back. Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. Now you have 8 horses. And the farmer said, maybe. The following day, his son tried to break one of those wild horses. And while riding it, he was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbors came and said, oh dear, that's so bad. That's just way too bad. The farmer said, maybe. And then a few days later, the military officers came around to conscript young men into the army. And they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. Again, all the neighbors came around and said, isn't that great? What a blessing. And the farmer said, maybe. So what do you think the moral of the story is? It's all in your perspective of what is good or bad. You are always always at choice on how you want to react or respond to each moment of life. And how you react or respond is based on which part of your mind is driving your bus at the moment. As the mind detective, I help my clients expand their thinking, take back their power of their whole mind. So let's do an exercise, shall we? We're going to walk through this metaphor that represents the different aspects of your mind and its various perspectives. And depending on the day or the circumstance, a different part of your mind, which is driving your actions, your reactions, your thoughts and behaviors, is going to be driving your bus. So the question is, who do you want driving your bus? So mind number one, this is your inner child mind. This is your fear mind. It's run by survival, fight, flight, and freeze. It's automatically there to help you stay safe. You can thank your amygdala for this. Now, we're all run by various fears. What fears are you being run by? Maybe it's a fear of heights or fear of conflict. Maybe it's a fear of authority or a fear of being bullied, perhaps. Take a moment to write down for yourself, what does your inner child mind fear? Write down the 3 words that pop to your mind. Don't overthink it, right? What are the thoughts that keep your child mind caught in fight, flight, or freeze? Just write them down. You get to notice, again, with loving compassion. We're going to get to the how to change things here soon, Jess, I promise. So let me tell you about Izzy. She was a severe procrastinating perfectionist, an overachiever, and she became frozen, unable to leave her house and attend her college classes, and ended up dropping out because of that being frozen, afraid that she wasn't going to get it right, because she had a severely narcissistic mother and how she was treated growing up. Together, we worked on quieting her child mind, helping her calm her nervous system, rewiring her brain, getting her back out into the world again, attending classes and working towards finishing her degree. So you get to notice what your child mind is telling you right now and how your body is responding just as you think about it. These are just for your own insights. Yeah. I'm just pretending to be an expert. I'll never write my book. So many thoughts. Yeah. Just write them down for yourself. Drop an emoji when you're done. Or a thumbs up. All good. Lots of fears. Yeah. Fear of not being loved, unlovable, destined to make the same mistakes. Fear of poverty. Fear of being left alone. Nowhere is safe. Yeah. Rejection, failure. Get to just notice and give yourself some love. Let's move on to mind number 2. This is your judging parent mind. What does your judging parent mind have to say? Sometimes they're really harsh, sometimes they're nurturing, but always with a twist, right? Write down what comes to mind, right? Some of mine are you sure you're doing enough? Have you earned it? Did you work hard enough? Or the more nurturing version sounds like, it takes courage to do this. Keep going, even when it feels hard, but make sure it's right. Make sure it's all right before you share it, right? You're doing amazing. Thanks for sticking with your vision. But have you really done enough yet? Maybe there's a little bit more you need to do, right? You just get to notice, what is that voice in your mind telling you? Just write down what comes to mind. Are you doing your best? Do you really think this is wise? Oh, yeah. Have you figured it all out yet? You better not share it unless you figured it all out yet. I'm so disappointed. Oh, yeah. Disappointment. Woo, that's a strong sword. Are sure on the right path? Should you be asking that? These are all great. Thank you for sharing. So let me tell you about Janae. She had a very overbearing father who also happened to be her basketball coach. He cheered her on at the games, yet belittled her every time on the ride home, literally telling her, you played like crap, even though she was the number one star player. All of his words created an extreme anxiety within her to be perfect, to win her father's approval and love. And this dis-ease manifested as 15 years of IBS, inflammatory bowel syndrome. She suffered from high anxiety and IBS for 15 years. And together we identified the root causes, neutralizing the trauma in her nervous system, rewiring her thinking, and now her online tutoring business is booming. And oh, by the way, her IBS went away. Yeah, it stopped. It just stopped. That's often the results that I get with clients. They come to me for something up here, but the physical issues that get triggered by this issue oftentimes go away or get significantly reduced because they're able to change their thinking, to change their perspectives. Creating this awareness for yourself is really, really key. Oh, yeah, these are great judging voices. I can't believe you made that choice. Disappointed in how you're living your life. Let me do it for you. You probably won't do it right. What you've accomplished isn't really a big deal. Oh, you better just figure it out on your own. Passive aggressive acceptance. Oh, yes, that's very popular. You can't handle this. Yeah, these are all very, very common responses. You should have done something else. You're wasting your life. Oh, a few years, it won't matter. Right. His degree was not in hard science. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all of these. Now let's move on to mind number 3. This is your not you mind. This is the one in you that's always attacking you, that not so nice chatterbox, right? That wants to bring you down, the negative ego mind. So what do yours sound like? Some of mine have been, well, who do you think you are? You don't know enough. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with you? You're doing it wrong. It's not perfect yet. You're not expert enough. Just sit down. Or you might as well stop. No one's listening. No one's following you. Just give up, right? Go get a job. These negative thought loops can keep you spinning in circles and take you deep, deep into the pit, keeping you awake at night, anxious, feeling like a fraud. So write down for yourself, what does your not you mind say? Just notice that. You don't know how to do that. You're not you can't do that. By the way, writing these down helps you discern more clearly the voice of your not you mind. your child mind, your judging parent mind, the one in you that is only bringing you down and not lifting you up. So just write those down for yourself and notice, again, with loving compassion. No one will listen. You won't be successful as a psych nurse practitioner. Oh yeah, I can't get a job with a degree in psychology thing. I cannot lead. You're not as good as the rest. You don't have the experience others have. You're not a good public speaker. Everyone else knows more than you. I'm unqualified. I'm awkward. I'm ridiculous. I'm not really confident. You're too young to know what you're doing. You'll screw it up just like always. Yeah. Again, these are all very, very common. Let me tell you about Harry. He's a military veteran of over 20 years. He did multiple tours and had severe PTSD. He had hypercritical self-talk. He was never enough, all of which was compounded by addiction. Together, we were able to dial down the negativity in his nervous system, to build up more peace within, to create a sober life that he loves. He enjoys his work and his life now, and he's finding purpose once again outside of that military structure. You'd be surprised at how many veterans come home from being and serving in the various wars around the world. And then they're like, now what? They're so used to being in that structured environment. They don't know what to do with all that space. It can very quickly take them down the rabbit hole of depression and anxiety and worse. You can't do that at your sister or brother who's good at that. I don't have a likable personality. I have an accent. They will not understand what I say. Yeah. Your experience doesn't matter. It's stupid. It's pie in the sky idea. Stop it. I'm just average, nothing special. You're too ugly for someone to love you. You get to notice all this negative self-talk. Now, would you agree that maybe, just maybe, what you wrote down might be what's holding you back? Yes. And is it possible that these negative thoughts are what keep your anxiety triggered, leaving your body feeling nervous, scared, awake in the middle of the night? Again, just notice. Everyone will leave you. You get to notice all of these negative thoughts spinning, keeping you awake at night. Now let's move to mind number 4. This is your authentic you mind, your higher conscious mind, the one in you that encourages you with self-love and compassion, with joy and focus. Now, I've discovered that the best day of your life is the day you were born, because you're here with unique gifts to share that only you can share. The world needs you. And the second best day of your life is the day you discover why you were born. So take a moment to write down, who do you say you are? Who does your authentic you mind say that you are not? You're not you mind. Not that negative chatter, but the authentic you. What are your words to describe your authentic you? Are you trustworthy, compassionate, inspiring, creative, tenacious, resilient, a change maker? These are just a few of mine that I have come to finally acknowledge fully. So please type in the chat, share your authentic you. Who does your authentic you say you are? I would love to know. Kind, compassionate, resilient, empathetic, supportive, loving. Yes, loyal, creative, caring, unique, empowering. Yes, these are wonderful and beautiful. I was born to love, path maker. I have a lot to offer. Highly capable, resilient, empathetic, happy. I love these. So you get to notice the ahas and insights that are coming up for you as you write these down. Makes my whole face, my whole heart smile just reading these. Resilient, tenacious, worthy, accomplished, supportive, caring, empathetic, peaceful, smart. Yes, you are all these things and so much more. Ever changing. Yeah, we're always changing, friends. Always, every day. Adaptable, determined, a good husband. Yes. Loyal. I like being a bright spot in others' lives. I love that. Persistent, smart, passionate, hardworking. I'm a heart whisperer. Oh, I love that. Soulful, gentle, faith-filled, genius, creative, strong, loyal, a good friend, a great problem solver. And these are wonderful. So I have a little homework assignment for you. By the way, did I mention I give homework? It's good homework though, I promise. So I want you to take out your phone right now, and I want you to set a reminder for yourself in 7 days. Take out your phone. Yep, I know you got it. Mine's never more than an arm's reach away. And I want you to set a little reminder for yourself in 7 days. And I want you to write in this reminder, I am, and enter in the words you just wrote down for yourself. Whatever those are, those words that your authentic you is telling you. I am loyal. I am a good friend. I am a great problem solver. I'm loving. I am kind. I'm smart. I am hardworking. Write those down for yourself. And as a bonus assignment, you can set the reminder to come up every day at the same time. And I want you to say those words out loud to yourself. I am kind. I am compassionate. I am smart. I am tenacious. I am persistent. I am creative. Whatever your words are, remind yourself of these every single day. Why? Because this is intended to create a pattern interrupt, to bust you out of an old groove of those old mental habits of thinking that no longer serves your growth. Doing this will help you catapult your way to a new way of seeing yourself and believing in yourself. Now let's put up that poll number 3, Caroline. Which of the 4 mind perspectives drives your behaviors most consistently? Just notice. Which of these drives your behaviors most consistently? So your child mind, the judging parent mind, the not you mind, your authentic you mind. You see, my life's work is to help you replace the unconscious messages that your not you mind have been telling you, running you maybe for your whole life, to help you step into who you really are, your authentic you mind, to drop all the internal BS, the stories, the trauma from your internal dialogue, and just believe in you. Believe in who you are authentically. That's my mission, to help create acceptance, belonging, and connection with dignity. I found these are the ABCs of well-being and happiness. the you that is full of joy, passion, and purpose in the world, and is excited to share your natural gifts, your talents, your expertise. That creates a life and a business or career that you love, where you get to thrive. By the way, we're all a work in progress. We're never done. We're always stretching and learning and releasing and reclaiming parts of ourselves that were tucked away behind layers and layers and layers of fear. Think of yourself as an onion that you're continually peeling away another layer that once was blocking your light from shining fully. And yes, sometimes you will cry as you pull away those layers. I guarantee it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and share those results. We got the child mind at 21%, the judging parent mind at 25%. The not you mind is the big winner at 42%, and the authentic you mind is at 12%. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing those. Because we all are run by these different parts of ourselves more often than you can even imagine. Now, imagine what's possible for you if you're able to eliminate those stressors, the fear, the limiting beliefs altogether that your not you mind is trying to convince you of, releasing it from your nervous system. Really sit with that for a moment. If you were able to release the pain, the trepidation, the preconceived notions about how your life, your career, your relationships are supposed to be based on a set of old, outdated decisions you made years ago, simply by changing your perspective. Removing the blinders at a deeper subconscious level to actually have what you want instead of what you don't want. Would that be of interest? Learning how to master your mindset. What would you experience by being able to do that? More freedom, more ease, more happiness, more lightness of being? And how would that impact your well-being, your way of being, and all other areas that we've talked about today? Just type in the chat the positive impacts it would have by changing your perspectives. What's possible for you when you change your mind about you? Less time worrying, gaining freedom, peace of mind, more courage, be yourself. You can finally start learning who I am. Willingness to try new sports or hobbies without fear of failing. I will have joy, mental freedom, peace of mind, a lightness of being, ease in making a life-altering decision. I'm not even sure. I could be less needy in my marriage. I could get my dream job. Be able to discern more clearly, to learn, to trust, to build solid relationships. To quiet my mind, less FOMO. FOMO is real, friend. Fear of missing out. I get it. These are wonderful. Enjoyment of trying new things. Loving myself. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. Now, the problem lies in the fact that many of these decision points that you made were made unconsciously years ago and are buried deep in your subconscious mind, out of sight. You're sneaky, tucked away in dark corners. And you don't even realize that these decisions are driving your behaviors each and every day. Your not you mind has been driving your bus all this time, I'm afraid to tell you. And here's why. You've probably heard someone say they got triggered by an event or by so-and-so's behavior, or even a particular sight or smell of something. And what does it mean when this happens? Well, it happens when your current reality comes up against one of these old decision points or dignity violations that can oftentimes throw you back in the past in an instant. raising up old fears and beliefs that have very, very little to do with what's happening in the current moment. Triggering your not you mind chatter and sending you down the rabbit hole in a blink of an eye, causing your body and mind to react as if you were right back there in that traumatic moment, days, months, years, decades ago. Anyone else have this happen with someone they work with? Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's a teenager or child. Sound familiar? Yes. One minute, all is well. The next minute, they're mad for reasons unknown. And the conversation is completely derailed and you have no idea why or even how to get it back on track. Does this sound familiar? Yeah. I've experienced it far too many times. The key to accessing these old beliefs and behaviors so that you can change your mind. Now, the number one mistake I see are folks who are trying to do this work alone to create deep, long-lasting change is that they're only using 10% of their brain, your conscious mind. Here's the rub, though. Most of these blocks are hidden in your subconscious mind, which controls the other 90% of your brain, which you don't have access to with your conscious mind. However, on my journey, I've realized that regular mindset work just doesn't get deep enough. Did you know there are 2 different levels of mindset work that you can do? The conscious level, like coaching, affirmations, talk therapy, all great in their own right. Or you can go much deeper to supercharge shifting, releasing, rewiring things much more quickly. That's where my unique rapid rewiring approach comes in. It simply allows you to access the full capacity of your brain for healing at a deeper level, neutralizing the emotional residue of those wounds and traumas left behind in your nervous system, or even the ones that you inherited. Yes, that is a thing. Rewiring your brain with new, empowering beliefs about yourself, your goals, new ways of operating in the world from a place of confidence, of power, versus fear and pain. This is the power of neuroplasticity at work. Our brains are always learning and growing if you use it. It's a use it or lose it kind of thing, my friends. So when you combine healing at a subconscious level with learning at a conscious level, you're creating whole brain transformation, whole mind, whole heart, whole spirit, actually. Now, by chance, did you know that everything that has ever happened to you is stored in your subconscious mind? It's all accessible if you know how, though. Now, as I mentioned before, I geek out on neuroscience and what makes us tick and how our brains work. I'm always wanting to figure out how to work better, smarter, with greater ease and joy. So I've done all the heavy lifting for you. Let me give you a powerful example. Joanna came to me because she wanted to expand her business. She kept hitting this wall. And then her anxiety, her overwhelm, her procrastination would set in, and her revenues would start to drop, creating another terrible bout, activating her Crohn's and a vicious downward cycle. Now, in this process, we don't relive the past, but we revisit the scenes as if watching them on a TV. So you can see what beliefs you took on about yourself at a particular moment in time that are getting in your way now, that have been stuck in your system. And then together we change your mind. And our work together, not only did we help Joanna bust through new levels of business success, but her Crohn's was severely diminished, greatly diminished. And it went away after 15 years of suffering. You see, your gut is your emotional brain. And when you don't process emotions, they get stuck there. And if you had to process a lot of emotions as a kid and you didn't have the brain capacity to do that, guess what? They stick with you for a long time. So let me ask you this. How often do you update your phone? your phone's operating system, right? They force you to do it every couple of months, it seems, right? So when was the last time you updated your own operating system, your own mental maps for how to move through life with joy and ease and success? Just think about that. So my rapid rewiring has helped people worldwide to release, rewire, and reclaim parts of their lives that they thought were lost and out of reach. Happiness, well-being, peace of mind, success, abundance, and most importantly, freedom from their fears and anxiety and self-doubt. Yes, you can release the limiting beliefs and habits caught in your subconscious mind and nervous system. You can rewire and reset your mind, your thinking with new empowering habits and perspectives, helping you to step into your authentic you. You can reclaim your confidence and stand in your dignity and share your authentic gifts with the whole world wholeheartedly as you become unshakable. Imagine what's possible when you enhance your emotional intelligence, your EQ, so you can stop the unconscious dignity violations from even happening. Perhaps you'll find the freedom and the peace of mind you've been seeking for years, personally and professionally. And to assist you in letting go of those old perspectives, clouding your view, one of the things I found to be vital is to get crystal clear on who is your unshakable self, to remember your dignity and understand your own core motivators and value drivers, enabling you to set clear boundaries. This is a Dignify snapshot, and it can tell you what you love most that you can't articulate into words. It brings voice to emotions that you can't voice any other way. So how do we do this? It's a simple 10-minute survey that you can take, assisting you with understanding your top 5 dignity traits and your dignity do's and don'ts. These are your rules of engagement with others. So by understanding your own nature more fully and how you authentically interact with the world, you become more confident in yourself as you peel away those layers of self-doubt from years of stuffing down those dignity violations. These happen to be my top 5 dignity traits and how I define them, which is different than how you might define them for you. So my number 1 is creative, which I define as let's bring the best ideas together to create the next level of wow. Sensitive, I hear where you're coming from. Let me help. Optimistic, I'm a possibilitarian and I believe there is always a way through a challenge. Sincere at heart, being authentic and accepting of others. Warm, talk with me, I'm safe. Each Dignify snapshot is completely unique as you define what these top 5 traits mean to you. Plus, you also identify your dignity do's and don'ts, your rules of engagement. Mine are be someone I can count on, do what you say. Be honest and direct with respect and kindness. Put your best foot forward and have fun. My don'ts, don't hesitate to ask, don't criticize publicly, and don't micromanage my work. So when was the last time your boss, your colleague, or even a family member asked how you want to be treated? Just type in the chat. What's one of your do's and don'ts of how you want to be treated or don't want to be treated? You just get to notice that. We don't often get asked. I'm a learning junkie and I've done all the assessments everywhere, just about. And I've never, ever come across anything that asked me these simple questions. It was profound. These are just a few of the comments from clients who have rediscovered their dignity traits. Spot on. The perfect reminder of who I am at my core. And not only did it help me to improve the communications and collaboration of my entire team, So how amazing would it be to be treated with dignity every day at home and at work? See, we can only remember how someone looks and how they act and how they treated us yesterday or last week. Beyond that, it all disappears from memory very quickly. So this tool gives you a roadmap for how others can treat you so that you feel seen and heard and respected for who you are authentically, based on how you move through the world naturally as yourself. Now, my colleague, Jeffrey Jones here, is going to come up to the mic with me, and we're going to do a little demo here of what we call a check-in. It's how this tool gets used regularly and what makes it so powerful, right? So Jeffrey, thank you for being here first and foremost.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, everyone. Yeah.
Yes. And so what resonated most for you after taking your Dignify snapshot?
Well,
can you share that with us?
Just a little, advanced information. I am the marketing director of Emory Continuing Education. So we've worked together on a lot of this material, and thank you. I think we did this snapshot like a couple of weeks ago. So your question was, what resonated with me?
Yeah, what resonated most with you when you looked at this information that came back at you?
First, I think one of your people said spot on. I mean, it's just like, it just mapped. When I took it, I'm like, how is this going to turn out? But it really, really does map pretty precisely to me. And that deep thinker one, it's really important. As a marketing director, you have to be a deep thinker. You have to, things are based on strategies. You need to deconstruct things. You need to challenge assumptions. All that. It's a very cerebral type of role. So that is key. Being curious too. That's for me. Not everyone is curious about wanting to try new tools, new processes, new types of workflow, AI, all kinds of new things. I'm really curious about that, and that drives me. I think all this maps. I love the do's and don'ts as well.
Yes. And so what was important to you about your do's and don'ts that came up?
I love the don't. I don't mean to laugh. It's just so accurate. It's like, don't lie to me. Don't pass the buck. I grew up in the South. They're very kind. They're not as direct. And I love to work with people that are direct, because that's just, it just speeds things up. And that goes right to the do's. Be upfront with me, keep me informed. I just like clarity. Respect. So many people want respect. But that's just nails it for me.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so, you look at your top 5 dignity traits. You and I both have creative as one of our top 5. How do you define creative for you?
Creative is not just art, it's problem solving. It's funny, I worked in Silicon Valley for many years. Well, I still am in that area, but developers taught me creativity is not just for artists. Creativity can be problem solving. So it really is that. It's a broader thing. It's the way you approach something and then the way you execute it. I don't know if that's the answer you wanted, but
yeah, no. Well, you get to define it for you, right? That's the beauty of this. That's what makes each of these absolutely unique. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite question is, which of your top 5 gets most misinterpreted?
Number 4, absolutely. Marketing is not only about execution, it's about timing. And you can have a great idea, but what was that? The procrastinating perfectionist, which I've been guilty of that. Just trying to make it perfect, and you missed the timing, doesn't matter. So sometimes I move really quick to deploy things, and people misinterpret it as haste. Not haste. It's because perfection is the enemy of, good enough, they say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's much more to this snapshot. I'm only showing you part of it. Jeffrey and I also both have the same trait of being, we come from the country of perfectionists, from perfection, but we won't deep dive into that today. But I do want to share, though, with everyone that there are actually 56 core emotional motivators. These are your 56 dignity traits, and they're broken down into 5 talent families with your dignified traits versus your stressed behaviors. And this is the groundbreaking work of Joe Kettinger and Larry Bellata, the inventors of this tool. You see, Joe originally wanted to learn how to better communicate with his stepson, Alex, And his curiosity has turned into one of the most powerful communication tools I've ever had the joy to utilize. Right. And so each one of these dignity traits comes with a stress behavior. I like to call it the shadow side. Right. So, Jeffrey, your top 5 are deep thinker, curious, creative, moves to action, and never a dull moment. So, deep thinker can move over into stress mode to overanalyzes. Does that ring true for you?
Oh, yes. Analysis paralysis, they call it.
Yes. Curious can land as nosy, right?
Yes.
Creative can be interpreted as eccentric. I know I have a very quirky side. Moves quick to action can morph into impatience. Does that ever show up for you?
Yes.
And then never a dull moment can bleed into overcommitted, saying yes to too many things.
Interesting.
Does that resonate?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how helpful would it be for you, Jeffrey, to recognize when your colleague or partner was operating in their stress traits, knowing that this is masking their authentic heart and spirit? And how might you respond differently to them in that moment of conflict or stress?
That's interesting. Well, the psychology, that would be helpful.
Yes, right. It gives us different lenses to see people through in order to communicate more clearly with greater compassion and less misinterpretations. Because I don't know about you, like when we get stressed, we hear things, we experiencing through those filters and lenses of our own hurts, our own dignity violations, right? Your child mind, your parent authority mind, your not you mind gets kicked up and starts getting in the way of those clear communications, right?
Yes.
It can make a mess of things really quickly. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate you sharing your experience with us, with the audience.
Well, thank you for this great presentation.
Oh, my sincere pleasure. So are you all starting to see the power of understanding your own core emotional drivers and your stress behaviors, enabling you to reclaim your power back from your fears and imposter syndrome, helping you to rapidly rewire your mind, heart, and spirit with empowering new beliefs, habits, and strategies for success in life and for your career? And then it becomes a no-brainer to get to know someone else's dignity traits, to get curious about their do's and don'ts and how they want to be treated instead of how you think you should treat them, which oftentimes can be two very different things. This is a mindset shift, a philosophy for life and work and relationships more than anything. For treating yourself and others with greater value, worth, and respect. To feel dignified. And isn't that what we all crave? And by the way, yes, family members and children as young as 12 can take this survey. I get asked that all the time. So I've uncovered this powerful tool and now I use it with all my clients, both individually and with teams, because it helps break down barriers to communication, to release misinterpretations and assumptions that cloud our view of ourselves and others every single day. So by taking your Dignify snapshot, you'll discover your top 5 dignity traits, your emotional core drivers. You'll get curious about your do's and don'ts, your rules of engagement. You'll understand how you are intrinsically motivated, discovering the true you, not the imposter. You'll learn about your inner strengths, the emotional communities you relate with most. And you'll uncover what triggers you and how you see and interact with the world when you're stressed. So when you're ready, it's really simple. I've got several bonuses for you just for being here today. So point your camera at the QR code and register to receive your 1-month trial of the How to Become Unshakable membership. For a special limited time offer for 48 hours, I have a super, super low $37 membership price for you. And there you'll gain access to take your Dignify survey to unlock your core emotional drivers and enhance your EQ about yourself. But the How to Become Unshakable membership is all about overcoming your imposter syndrome. That's why I created it. It's full of invaluable coaching, hypnotherapy, guidance to reclaim your confidence from imposter syndrome and self-doubt. There's additional world-class expert masterclasses there as well, guided meditations, and more for your whole brain transformation to help you release your imposter syndrome once and for all. The QR code is not working. What? I double checked this. It might not be. And if it isn't, let me do this really quick. Let's see. If you click on it, what's happening? Oh my goodness. You gotta love it when a plan goes to poo. Well, we will fix that, my friends. Oh, you got it to work. Yay, Jennifer. It worked for me. Okay, whew. All right. You just have to shoot your camera at it. Don't take a picture of it, or you can take a picture of it, but also just click on the thing, and it will take you to a web page with all the bonuses and goodies on it. Because there you'll also be able to download for free a copy of my ebook, What's Causing Your Imposter Syndrome? 6 Triggers Crushing Your Confidence. It's chock full of an assortment of additional tips to tame your imposter syndrome, to release, rewire, and reclaim your confidence so you can live your best life yet. Think of it as a roadmap to reclaiming your dignity while teaching others how to treat you with greater dignity as well. Be sure to share this link with people you love too. So envision this. What's possible when your family members, your colleagues are able to dignify each other regularly? How might that improve your relationships, reduce misunderstanding and miscommunications by expanding understanding, increasing cooperation, and deepening the connection between two people? Getting to know yourself and others around you in a way that honors each more profoundly with greater dignity. By the way, this tool is also used with companies, large and small, all around the world. So if you're interested in using this powerful communication tool with your team, then be sure to connect with me at the end of the presentation. My email address will be at the end of the presentation. So if you're having trouble with the QR code, yes. Jeffrey, can you grab the link and post that for people in addition to the QR
sure thing,
code?
I'll do it. Yep.
Great, thank you. What's a good presentation without a technical difficulty? My power blinked off this morning and I almost had a heart attack, right? So here are 8 easy reasons to claim your 1-month trial to the How to Become Unshakable membership and all the bonus gifts that come with it. Because it's time. It's so time to release your imposter syndrome. This is the path to get you there. It's so easy. You can take your Dignify snapshot. You can schedule a 30-minute one-to-one private call with me. You get the first month of the How to Become Unshakable online learning program to release your self-doubt. It includes hypnotherapy recordings for whole brain healing, live monthly group coaching calls, guided meditations for greater peace of mind, plus a whole library of other expert masterclasses. I have some really smart friends who have shared their expertise with you there. And you get the Imposter Syndrome ebook as well. So all of this, a very special limited time offer for the next 48 hours because y'all are here on the call, right? It's 80% off, 87% off the full tuition. So it's $37 the first month, and then it's just $97 each month after that for as long as you'd like to stay, to retrain your brain and rewire your mind, heart, and spirit. So take full advantage of all the bonus tools and the decades of wisdom available to you for just $37. Yeah. All to help you become a more confident you. Because isn't that why you came here today? Yeah. Now, you might be wondering, well, how can I start today? What's the first step I can take on my own to start taming my imposter syndrome? Well, you start by changing the channel. Your job is to win the battle over your mind so your authentic you can shine through more often than not. When you realize that the negative thoughts are just energy and not hard and fast truths about yourself, you can then step into a place of choice of what thoughts to tune into, just like the radio. You can start to harness the power of your mind. I'm just going to grab this link really quick for everybody, just so we have it. I know there's a little snafu. Hold on a second here. Oh, goodness. I love it when these things happen. Sing to yourself or not. We were joking about that before the call started. Like, who can sing? Not me. That's all right. Yes, that is the correct link, everyone. That's the one. Great job. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that.
Sure. Sorry for the delay.
No worries. No worries. All right. So how do you change your mind? Well, these are 3 easy first steps that you can take right now to start changing your mind, to change the channel. Step 1, you notice the negative, not you thought that is running you ragged. Step 2, you recognize how that thought makes you feel. How does it make you feel in your body, in your mind, in your heart? Get to notice where that's showing up. Step 3, tune into a different thought, a positive thought, a thought that makes you feel good, feels empowering. Choose a thought that is based in fear. I got that wrong. Choose a thought that is based in love, not fear. You see, a negative thought and a positive thought cannot exist in your mind at the same time. Your mind toggles back and forth really, really fast. But you get to choose which thought you want to be your dominant thought. Because all that toggling back and forth, that's just a waste of good brain energy, if you ask me, right? So change the channel to one of self-love. Love is a powerful unifying force in the universe. Your authentic you, your higher self is always choosing to operate from love. And so the more you practice this simple technique to change your mind, the more quickly you can get yourself out of the negative thought loops that have you feeling stuck, blinding you to the truth of who you are, a talented, amazing human being with unique gifts to share. Your mind is a powerful place, my friends, especially when you learn how to harness that power for good, instead of letting fear or lack or not enoughness holding you back, keeping you hiding out, preventing you from shining and sharing your inherent gifts and talents, simply by changing your perspective. So if you want more tips to change your mind, then be sure to download my free ebook. And so the link that Jeffrey put in the chat, that is the special thank you page for today's presentation. And that has the special rate of just $37. Yes, the web page does say $47. So go to the thank you page where you get the special rate. And that rate's available for 48 hours. Sorry for the confusion. I hope that helps clarify things. So by now, perhaps you can see when you change your perspective of yourself, honoring your authentic you can create positive, powerful change in all areas of your life. So what's possible if everyone you're in relationship with, your family members, your colleagues, your clients, were able to see each other's authentic selves and treat each other with greater dignity? What's possible when you trade conflict and miscommunication for cooperation and understanding? How will that quiet your inner child mind, your inner judging parent, your not you mind? Close your eyes again and take a deep belly breath in and out. And as you do, imagine what's possible from a place of greater peace and calm and clarity, free from imposter syndrome. Envision what's possible when you and your team are able to communicate more clearly with dignity, with greater psychological safety, well-being, and engagement at work. It is possible. You too can become unshakable in your confidence, in your peace of mind, simply by changing the channel, by changing your perspective. Jeffrey, can you drop the thank you page link in the chat again, please? Thank you. So what has my journey taught me so far? Well, you can become who you authentically are when you courageously look within to let go of the stories that no longer serve you. I am my own poster child for this. It took me years. And I don't want it to take years for you to release the fear, the self-doubt, the not enoughness that you've been carrying around for decades. This cannot be attained by working at a conscious level alone. If you want to achieve rapid results that last, you're still only working with 10% of your brain with coaching and talk therapy. They all have their place, yet wouldn't you rather create whole brain transformation using all of your brain to make quantum leaps forward sooner than you would on your own? I thought so. You too can release, rewire, and reclaim your confidence, your self-worth, and live your most authentic life to become unshakable, to overcome imposter syndrome as you leave a lack of self-love, a lack of self-worth behind. Moving from overwhelm, burnout, perhaps depression, chronic pain, or maybe just procrastination, leaving it all behind as you reclaim your natural state of being, becoming filled with self-confidence, peace of mind, satisfaction in life and work, all of which can help foster vibrant health and well-being and a commitment to your goals and dreams to create greater financial freedom. Just type yes if you're ready to leave imposter syndrome behind once and for all, to stand tall in your dignity and confidence, to become unshakable. Yes. Remember, the universe is always listening. Say yes to what you do want. So when you agree, if you're not where you feel you want to be, then isn't now the best time to start to create positive, powerful change in your life? To find lasting relief and happiness and success? Well, there are 4 paths you can take to find a new place of joy. And I'm happy to tell you about that in greater detail to see which one might be right for you in a one-to-one complimentary and confidential call, whenever you're ready, right? Individually and in groups or with organizations and teams, my life's work is to be of service to help create greater acceptance, belonging, and connection with dignity. Now, as you recall, earlier you wrote down how fear is showing up in these 6 key areas of your life: career, money, relationships, conflict, success, motivation. So now I'm curious, what's your fear and self-doubt costing you in those areas? Not to mention the toll it's taking on your well-being. What's it worth to you to change all of that? What's the value of this level of transformative change? To help you find new, empowering perspectives in your life. All it takes is one conversation to help put you on a path of transformative healing and happiness. As I said when we started, I believe that life is too short to live from a place of fear. And I know that you deserve to live your best life, to be your authentic you without apology. It is available to you. A fuller life is just waiting for you to say yes to it, to allow yourself to receive the gifts that await you. It's time. Time to leave the past in your history book. All the drama, the trauma, just leave it. Put it down. You no longer need it. Discover how to step joyfully into your future as your most authentic you yet, and unlock your full confidence and success as you become unshakable. Let's connect and see what path of transformation will work best for you, so you can leave the challenges in the rear view mirror once and for all. Your next step is simple. You can point your camera at the QR code to easily claim your free ebook gift and the special offer for you. A 1-month trial of the How to Become Unshakable program, to take your Dignify survey, to get access to whole brain transformation and coaching, expert masterclasses, guided meditations, the Imposter Syndrome book, and even book a confidential one-to-one call with me. It's super simple. You can visit my website, you can email me, you can find me on all the social channels, right? So now take another deep breath in and out. As your body feels more refreshed and ready to go, as you see a vision of your future more clearly now, one filled with greater self-love and self-confidence. Thanks for joining me here today for what I hope has been a thought-provoking conversation for you. It's been my honor and service to be with you. So now it's Q&A time. Anybody got any questions? You can drop it in the Q&A. Let's see. You're welcome. It's been my pleasure. What questions can I answer?
Hi, Michelle. This is Carolyn. So we have one in the Q&A area.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you need to spend per week for this trial?
Each week you're going to get a new module. So you get one module a week, right? So you might spend an hour, right? There's going to be a video tutorial. There's going to be a online journaling component with it as well for you to do some reflection. There's even a mission that goes with each module, right? To start putting what you're learning into action so you can build the muscles of standing in your confidence more and more fully as you let go of those old beliefs and self-doubt that have been holding you back. What else? What other questions can I answer?
All right, another one came in chat. It says, what are your thoughts on faking it till you make it?
I love that. Well, your brain loves repetition, right? So the more that you practice stepping into a place of greater confidence, even if you're trembling inside, your body, your mind, your brain gets more and more used to that idea of, oh, okay, we can do this. So when you first started riding a bicycle, you didn't know how to do that, right? But the more you did it, the better you got. So the more you do it, the better you get, and the better you get, the more you do it, right? So faking it till you make it is a good way to get you there. Thanks. What else, Caroline?
And can you just clear up about the link? It is showing some of the attendees are saying it's saying $47. You said something about $37. So we just want to make sure we clear that up before.
Yes. So the thank you page, the link that Jeffrey popped in, that is the thank you for being here today. That has the special low rate of just $37. You'll be able to get access to your 1 month trial there for the $37 rate. The regular web page has it listed at $47. So that's where the confusion lies. So go to the thank you page, and we will drop that link into the chat again for everyone so that you have that, or you can point your camera at the QR code and that should take you directly to the link as well.
Okay, and we just getting a lot of thank yous in the chat. Thank you so much. Is another one.
Thank you. It's been my sincere pleasure.
Thank you very much. It's been great. I'm a senior citizen. How can this program, I guess they're saying, how can this program help them?
So the whole How to Become Unshakable program was created to help you overcome your imposter syndrome. And it's all about identifying your self-doubt, understanding the lack conversation that you're having. And as you identify that, then you start to rewrite and rewire your mindset. There's a hypnotherapy component to it. There's a guided transformation recording that goes with that. And that is a unique handcrafted recording. It's about 30 minutes. It's mixed with binaural beat music that you listen to every night as you drift off to sleep. Because I said, your brain likes repetition. So the more you listen to it at night, you're literally letting your brain do all the hard work while you sleep. You're rewiring new neural pathways in your brain every night. And so as you go through the whole course, you're learning how to stand more confidently in your dignity and your value and worth. So then you can get clear on your passion, your purpose, your why, and ask for what you deserve, to ask for the raise, to increase your rates, to take on that new project that you were afraid to do. So it's all about increasing your confidence, your value, and worth. And the ongoing monthly coaching and master classes that go with it are all to bolster and expand your thinking in various different ways every single month. So you can come join the membership and stay for as long as you choose on a month-to-month basis, right? It's really simple. And it's my joy. It's kind of my, the place where all of my wisdom has been poured into. I've truly poured 20 plus years into this program, and I'm really, really proud of it. What else can I answer?
I have another question. It says, how does coaching work with hypnosis?
Yes. So what I found early on, I've been a professional coach since 2001. And when I discovered hypnotherapy, I saw very quickly how they go together, how they supercharge each other, because coaching works at the conscious mind level, that 10% of your brain that I talked about. And hypnotherapy works at the subconscious mind level, which is the other 90% of your brain. So by combining them together over a period of typically of 3 to 6 months, right? We have both coaching and hypnotherapy sessions. We're able to do the deeper dive with hypnotherapy to release the emotional stuck spots in your system, the emotional residue, right? And literally rewire your mind about how you think about yourself, how you think about stepping out into the world, into your career, into your business more and more effectively. So stand alone, they're both good, but when you bring them together, it creates a huge quantum leap for my clients, I found.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. Next one wants to know, if they sign up for a month, is it easy to cancel your program?
Yep. All you have to do is email me and we'll get you canceled.
Okay.
Super simple.
Anonymous attendee. I find that my procrastination is holding me back from trying this. How do I overcome this self-defeating loop of doom?
Well, you're procrastinating perfectionist. Just say thank you for sharing and step into the fear and do it anyway, because that wobble that you're feeling, that uncomfortable, that's just the edge of your comfort zone. And what you'll realize is that fear is just a thought. And when you step into that fear and recognize it for the energy that it is, it becomes this very, very small thing. And then you can cheer yourself on for making a powerful, positive choice for yourself. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose, right? I mean, $37, you probably spend more on that lunch for sometimes, right? So take a step in to enhance yourself, to let go of your fear that's holding you back, and allow the thought of what's possible if I move beyond my fear, pull you forward into a new place that maybe you've been dreaming of for a really long time, and allow yourself to actually have it.
Okay, we have some more questions here. Are CEUs available for this webinar?
That is a great question. Unfortunately, no, they're not. That's a whole set of red tape that I have yet to tackle.
Okay.
But I'm glad you asked.
How to set boundaries with people who are not positively affirming me or the person?
That's a great question. We all have those negative Nellies and hateful heralds in our life that are energy vampires, as I like to call them, right? And these are unhappy people, and they're trying to bring you down to their energetic vibration of unhappiness to make themselves feel better. So it's about setting very clear boundaries with them. And sometimes that might sound like, wow, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, but I need to respectfully excuse myself, right? It could be that simple, to not have to buy into their negative conversations. We've probably all experienced those people who complain and complain and complain. And so I want you to think of yourself as Teflon, right? Instead of Velcro. Velcro, you have a fuzzy side and a prickly side, right? And an energy vampire, someone who complains all the time, is the prickly side, and they're trying to get their negative stuff onto you because they don't know how to process it. So they want to dump it on somebody else. So instead, see yourself as being coated in Teflon so they can't get their prickly bits into you. And you can just say, gosh, I hope you work that out. I hope you can sort that out. And I need to excuse myself. Thanks. Right. Or take care. I wish you all the best. So it's about finding the ways that you can protect yourself. I happen to be an empath. I'm very energetically sensitive to people. And so it took me a long time to recognize, oh, I was picking up on all the negative energy of people around me and how to protect myself from that. And that's one of the ways that I do it.
Okay.
What else, Caroline?
All right, next question. We have several questions. So we have like 2 minutes left. So just want to let you know that part. Any tips on how to interrupt your 4 minds?
I love that. It's all about creating that pattern interrupt, right? So that's what we talked about, changing the channel. So noticing the negative thought that you're having, noticing the physical body reaction that you're having, and asking yourself, what's the exact positive opposite thought that I can have instead, right? So if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, what's the exact positive opposite of that? I am good enough. And so if you just stepped in for just a minute, believing that I am enough, how does that feel? It probably feels a lot better, right? So then choose the thought that feels better and allow yourself to go in that direction. And then just keep choosing and keep choosing and keep choosing until eventually you do it unconsciously, right? And that's the process that we take you through the membership, is giving you the opportunity to see those negative thoughts that are holding you down so that you can choose differently. And you keep reminding yourself to choose differently every single day.
All right. I'll let you make the decision. Is this going to be the last question or not? Is hypnotherapy just as effective online as it is in person?
I love that question, Sheila. Yes, hypnotherapy is very powerful. I do all my work over Zoom, actually. So I work with people all over the world, right? So I'm able to connect with you. Most of the time, your eyes are closed anyway, and you're just listening to the sound of my voice. I have a very, very relaxing hypnotherapy voice. So our sessions are very relaxing. You're in a half awake, half asleep state called an alpha brainwave state. So you're very safe. Your body's very relaxed. You're conscious. So you can hear all the questions I'm asking you. You can answer my questions, yet your whole body is very relaxed. And that's what allows me to have a conversation with your subconscious mind, right? So it's a very safe, very effective process. With a lot of really fascinating science behind it. It's all about rewiring your brain to create new neural pathways for greater happiness and health and well-being. So that is the top of the hour, and we have all of your questions captured here in the Q&A. So I'll be going through those, and be sure to sign up for the free ebook, that what's causing your imposter syndrome ebook. That'll get you on my email list. I send out regular emails that will answer a lot of these questions, and we'll make sure that these get answered. And so it's been really, yes, I'm just seeing all these questions that are coming in here, but I also want to respect everyone's time.
And remember, I will send all this to you so that you can reach out to the attendees as well through your email or your communication with them, as long as they've signed up. And also, this recording will go out to everyone so that they can review and reevaluate what has been said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been my sincere joy to share this with you today. A big thank you to the whole Emory Continuing Education team for inviting me to speak. And yes, we will get you the link, the thank you page. You'll get access to the recording so you can go back through it. I know that you'll find this information helpful no matter what path you choose for yourself. I know that you can step into your confidence and your dignity more and more every day. And it would be my joy and honor to help you do that, whether that's reading my blogs or my newsletter or stepping into the How to Become Unshakable program with me. So thank you all. Many blessings to you. And I look to see you online somewhere. All right. Thanks so much, everyone.
Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic one, everyone.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care, everyone.